to the Short Council. I'm your host, Trev, and with me this week, as always, are the PBD All-Stars, starting at my left, Vanessa, Jeremy, and Caleb. Now, this week we're taking a look at Episode 2 of Season 5, The House of Black and White. Now, right away, with The House of Black and White, it has to do with Arya here in Braavos. She finally arrives out in Braavos, and it becomes apparent that she really didn't have very much of a plan. But kind of continuing with our theme from last week about people not having any plans for their future beyond like vague notions. I guess she just figured the coin would take her all the way there to where she needed to be.
Arya doesn't need a plan. She's resourceful, though. You saw her chopping heads off pigeons, standing up to the thugs. She's ready to shish kebab them.
She was not going to lose that pigeon for pigeon pie.
And I mean, all she knew was that she was supposed to go there, supposedly. She waited there for, it looks like 2-3 days, so that's... You know, she gave it a good while of trying to show them that she was insistent.
I was getting a little bit of a Fight Club vibe, like how long will she stay out there? She's ready.
Like a monkey ready to be shot into space.
That poor girl, some strange man with multiple faces gives her a coin that takes her to a place where she doesn't know anything about.
Anything.
She has to live in the streets.
And it's still better than where she was from. Still better.
Right. Starts dropping like flies. Time to leave Westeros. Of course, then moving over to Meereen, since we're already over in Essos. Daenerys Targaryen having some difficult times ruling instead of just conquering.
So she's having to make the hard decisions on mercy versus justice.
If you want justice, you've come to the wrong place.
Sir Barristan, counseling her is not a good idea because he has a Westeros mind, and this is not a Westeros city.
Well, at the same time, she's being prepared to rule Westeros. That is the end game. But, I mean, for what it was of how she wanted to rule these people, what their understanding of ruling is going to be far more simple than what she's trying to do and establish. What she did was the hard decision. But at the same time, I don't feel like it was the wrong decision, but it's definitely not the popular one. But at least this way, if she's trying to rule these people, the masters are half the population. She has to show them that the masters will receive justice. If they're killed in their cells, they will receive, justice for that. And she needs to let the freed slaves understand that she's not just their mother that's going to give them whatever they want. She is a dictator. That is what she's doing, and she's going to rule this city like one.
I will do what queens do.
Scene with Drogon at the end was perfect. He comes over, sniffs her. You're not ready yet. He takes off. We're not going to see her.
She truly is.
Yeah, we're not going to see her unify anything until she's able to deal with the dragons.
Barristan's arguing for a more, Westerosi approach. You got the sellsword,
Dario.
You got Dario, who's offering, basically you see it from the trailers. You're either the butcher or you're the butchered. I think he says at one point, and he's already kind of advocating a more bloodthirsty sort of take on things. She's definitely at odds, and I think as long as she can't make up her mind, I don't think the dragons are going to listen to a thing that she says.
No.
Would it be fair to say that Slaver's Bay is sort of in the middle of Essos, down on the south coast, would you say?
Yeah, I was surprised how close it was to Braavos.
Right.
I didn't know it was there.
So, would you say then that it's fair to say that Westerosi policies don't work in the middle Essos? Last of what's happening in Essos, Varys and Tyrion are kind of bopping along in their little carriage, waxing poetic about life inside the box. A nice scene, quiet, kind of, kind of subdued amongst everything else that happened here.
Tyrion kind of having a meltdown of sorts.
Oh my god, yeah. Well,
it sounded like he's starting to come around, but he's still...
He's like his old self when he was more of a drunk. He calmed down towards the end.
Oh yeah, he quit his whining ways for quite a while there.
He had a purpose.
Right.
He has no purpose now.
He's sulking.
And Varys is going to try to, really, arrange him into a position where he has a purpose
He
again.
told him he was a good king, basically.
Right.
At one point in time.
Well, and the other thing is that, I mean, he'll be supportive, but he's not going to get any pity from Varys. Varys had to earn everything he's ever had.
Influence grows like a weed. I tended mine patiently.
All the way up at the wall, headline, Jon Snow elected Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. I'm excited. I think this is going to be kind of interesting, seeing him finally wield the reins officially.
So let's see how Alistair's going to take this. He can't take this.
No, there's going to be some backbiting, but, I suspect John's going to, say, listen, Alistair, I need you, and like, it's
Respect children. Or whatever he says.
I was really glad that Sam finally called out Slint.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my god, finally someone publicly said
Sitting
it.
in a puddle of his own
Making. Savage dropped the mic, walk away. It was some good stuff. But where does this leave Stannis? Now, he was trying to set up Jon to be his claim at the north, and if he could get the north back under his control, he'd have all the resources of the houses that scattered. I mean, it sounds really great on paper, but without Jon, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And even if he gets Jon, he's still under the illusion that Jon will be able to lead the wildlings. That is definitely not going to be the case. So, as much as he likes that, he's not going to be able to get that either.
And Melisandre seems to have her own designs for Jon too, so I think it's important to remember, just because he's like in a position of power now, he's not safe, not at all. He's still surrounded by enemies. I'm glad to see Brienne is still hanging out with Podrick. They haven't split companies. I was kind of worried that was going to happen.
Podrick eyeballing the little bar wedge there.
Mhm.
Yeah. But because of that, he noticed Littlefinger. Yes, he was looking that direction.
See, and that's really the value that Podrick still offers to Brienne, even if she doesn't realize it. Well, that too, but he knows things. He knows people, and he knows connections between people, and
He's 10. He's been around for a long time.
he's seen things. But I cannot imagine how frustrating it is for Brienne to be rebuked by Sansa as well.
Oh god. Hands down, the saddest character in the show right now.
She's got no purpose.
Nothing.
She said she's gonna follow after them, so that's something. And
saddest next to Theon.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows what's going on with Theon?
Fuck Theon.
No one cares much for Theon.
Nothing! Reed here! Reed! My name is Reed!
And finally, in the capital, we see Cersei kind of trying to take command and set up her small council the way that she wants to, and I could not have been more pleased. Jeremy, I know you were talking before we started recording.
Kevin Lannister is awesome. So I was really into this part. Like, I know a lot of cool stuff happened. For some reason, it was just like, yes. Because he came in there and he was like, hey, like, remember me? I'm your uncle. I'm also a Lannister.
And more importantly, he's the prime Lannister now. All the laws recognize him as the authority, and he shut her down pretty quickly when he reminded her that you're the Queen Mother, and that's about it. She's not gonna take it easily. She's not just gonna lay down and die, so to speak. Of course. But I think Kevin's doing the right thing. It seems like he's going to try to retreat back to Casterly Rock and sit this one out. That's a smart thing to do.
Also, he made it known that he would want to speak with Tommen only. He's not going to allow what happened with Joffrey. Joffrey just off shooting animals and killing whores. He's like, no, he's going to be here. He's going to be on his king's council and learn how to rule. Until he does that, you can see me in your father's castle. Like,
boom. Yeah. Just a lot of dropping mics and walking away for this week.
and Qyburn's up there now, asking for dwarf heads and shit.
I like that's what he's great. He's
nice.
the right kind of creepy. I like him. I like him too. I think it's weird that Cersei hangs out in his creeper lab with him. The council sucks right now. Like besides Kevin, you got Pycelle and fucking Mace. Mace Tyrell.
On there.
Yeah.
It was interesting that they made Mace the master of coin. Now, Highgarden, with all of its resources, are now theoretically responsible for the
money.
The king's affairs with money. It's really putting the Tyrells, on the hook for a pretty large bill. And Mace is just stupid enough to go along with it.
Honored my queen.
Yes.
Thank you. You honor me.
What a useless lord. He's the worst.
The pig of the flowers.
Well, it makes me think of the Erie. It's a grubby job. Why not let a grubby man do it?
Both Tywin and I already determined that I shall be the master of ships.
And of course, Jaime dispatches himself, essentially with some pressure from Cersei, to go and rescue Myrcella. That's a dangerous mission.
Ooh, especially since we saw how pissed some people are down in Dorne.
Is he that desperate to get away from Cersei that he's willing to go to Dorne to do it?
Yes.
And Dorne is pissed, too.
It was kind of interesting finally seeing the other prince, the one with gout.
The Sand Snakes are with me. They have the love of their people. They will avenge their father while you sit here in your chair doing nothing.
How cruel was that when you sit in your chair? Bitch, what else am I gonna do?
Oh.
He was my brother long before he was anything to you.
She became suddenly unlikable there. Like, I get it, but she was being a little hasty.
The whole country would have you go to war.
Then we are lucky the whole country does not decide.
Of course, I was kind of surprised that Bronn got dragged back into this. To be honest, I'd kind of imagined that was his exit last season, where he was going to basically, walk away from Tyrion, and kind of attaching him here as a companion to Jaime. Let's see how he does with the other Lannister brother.
Maybe because they're sending Jaime on this mission instead of like a whole soldier. They're like, the audience loves Bronn. Let's put everyone loves Bronn and Jaime together. Put them in there.
No, a lot of people were super happy, like, early on when they saw his name on the cast list, because it's like, Bronn, yes.
So he's a crowd pleaser. Everyone loves
Yeah,
Bronn. He's witty, he's funny.
I still have my right hand. Plan on growing it back.
Well, that's about all the time we have here on the Short Council. Join us, of course, next week for a quick look at the third episode of Season 5 Game of Thrones. And if you're curious what a Game of Thrones beer might taste like, you might want to click up above us right now. You can go over to the Rhinus' review of the Three-Eyed Raven official beer for Game of Thrones. Regardless, we'll see you back here next week. Have yourselves a good one.
Peanut butter disaster.